WKRP. Really? Am I showing my age? Are you kidding me right now?
I switched that when that came on, man. It was like, next.
We are back. It is Retire with Integrity, brought to you by Integrity Financial with Brian Bowen here, president and founder of Integrity Financial. It's WKRP, man. Two members of the WKRP staff are celebrating birthdays this week. Frank Bonner, who played salesman Herb Tarlick, which you don't care about these guys. You don't know who these guys are, do you? He was a salesman. He's 79. And Howard Hessman, better known as, have you ever heard of Dr. Johnny Fever? You even heard that? All right, never mind. Just pretend like I'm not even here.
I've seen the show before, but it's been like twice, right? And, skip.
Well, Johnny Fever turns 81 today. Unbelievable. Dropping the needle, dropping turkeys. Do you remember the turkey drop? Have you heard about the turkey? Okay, never mind. Speaking of dropping, how about dropping $300,000 on health care? Fidelity says a 65-year-old couple that retires today can expect to spend $300,000 on healthcare over the course of their retirement, not including long-term care. How do you, Brian Bowen, plan for an expense like that, especially when you're no longer working?
Not to go back to WKRP.
Let's never go back there again, please.
But no. See, my older brother had control of the remote control, and
okay.
I couldn't watch what I wanted to watch. I mean, and so, a lot of this stuff, it was whatever my parents and whatever my, whatever my older brother would beat me if I, switched
I'm disappointed that your older brother was watching Teletubbies instead of WKRP. I'm just kidding.
And we probably watching baseball is what we were probably watching, yeah. But anyway, so, I think the $300,000 number sounds too, it sounds crazy, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like, oh, come on. But every year, actually, we've talked about this many times on the show. I think a couple years ago it was $250, and then now it's $275. Now they're talking about $300,000, right? Well, it's inflation.
Yep.
I mean, look at the cost of healthcare that the nursing homes and everything is costing today. I mean, I used to, just a few years ago, it costs $6,000 for a nursing home, and now we're at like $9,000.
Yeah, everything goes up.
Right,
yeah.
and so they can't build the nursing homes fast enough. So I think that's the biggest issue. And there's Medicare, which everybody goes, I'm going to have Medicare in retirement. I'm all set. I can't wait till I get to 65. I'm going to have Medicare. It's going to take care of me. It doesn't cover everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not covering.
It's surprisingly lower. I guess it depends, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's not covering the big cost, the nursing home. Yeah, sure, you do have Medicare covers about 80%. Then you can buy a Medicare supplement plan, right? Or you can get a Medicare Advantage plan. The Medicare supplement is what most of our clients end up going with because it just kind of locks in their budget a little more, right? I mean, they may have a little tiny deductible, a couple $100 deductible here, but pretty much everything else is covered. I mean, they have to get a drug plan too, but if they're not a high income earner, maybe they're spending $225, $250, and they pretty much have everything taken care of.
Okay, that's not bad.
No, it is. Yeah. But they also paid into it for years.
Well, right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the last segment, right? The guy they stole out of his paycheck.
Yeah, right.
That's a Medicare tax they took for years and years. So you paid for this. That's why it's reduced. But I mean, I think you do have to look at what is the big concern. You're married, right? Let's say you and your wife are now 65, 70, and I don't want to rush you, right? But let's say that you get to that age and you're like, I'm done, I'm retiring. Do I have enough, Brian? And we look at your assets and we say, okay, well, you've done well. You listened to me, and we saved in the right places. But you had some setbacks, right? You didn't save as much as you thought, and that's okay. But we sit down and we say, what if one of you goes into a nursing home, right? A full-blown, I'm talking about not just somebody's coming out and checking on you once in a while, like home health care. I'm talking about a full-blown nursing home, and you're spending 7, 8, 10, maybe even at that point, it's 12 to 15,000 a month.
A month,
right?
Yeah, right.
A month. So how can your wife survive if you're pulling out that much out of your retirement accounts to pay for it, right? Because if you take out 10,000, it's not 10,000 you're taking out. If you saved in a 401k that's pre-tax, you're probably taking 13 to net the 10. And so your money starts to go really quick.
It's a scary thought, but it's realistic.
No, it is, because it happens all the time, right? And so there's some folks that are in that self-insurance range, right, where they've got so much and you don't have to worry about long-term care. Good problem to have, right? Because if something does happen and the average stay was, let's say, 3 years or 4 years, and somebody, the spouse does go in, well, yeah, they still have enough. I mean, the goal with most folks isn't to give millions of dollars to their kids. It's to make sure they have a paycheck in retirement that they can live on, right? There's a few.
It'd be great if you could do both, but
it is, yeah. And some people are like that, like, well, I want to take care of me first, right? Because that's what I saved it for. The kids aren't worried about me. They're doing great. They have good jobs.
Let them figure it out.
Let them figure it out, right? But I do need to take care of myself and my spouse, and so a lot of men are concerned about that. That come in here and they say, Brian, I need a long-term care insurance policy. Well, what led you to that? Well, I don't think I have enough assets to take care in case something happens. Well, long-term care insurance is very expensive. Like, let's look at other alternatives. If it's, because long-term care, we had someone come in and say, I just got this quote from an insurance guy in town, and it was $14,000 a year just for me per year. And then the wife was a little less, right, because she was younger, and it was like 12. And you go, okay, so you guys going to drop how much? $26,000 on long-term care. So where's that come from, Brett? Comes from their assets that can't grow anymore, right? So you're pulling $26,000 out, or if you're still saving, right, that money can't grow. Either way, it's that affects your income in retirement. So you can't just say, oh, this is going to protect you, because that's what the insurance guys do. The insurance salesmen say, you've got to have this because it's going to protect you. No, I get it. That's the pro. What's the con? Well, the money's not there. It's not invested. So you really have to look at cheaper alternatives. There's a lot of things you can do. The idea is you need a game plan, and maybe to just even find out if you're a fit. A lot of our clients coming in today saying, I don't think you need it. You've saved so well, you've invested well, you've got real estate, you've got stocks, brokerage accounts, IRAs, Roths, whatever. That's not necessarily a need for you at this point. But that's what a second opinion service kind of does, is really identify, does it make sense for you, or maybe you already have it covered somewhere else. We see that a lot of times.
Second opinion service. It's something that Brian's offering. It's complimentary for the next 3 calls, but you have to call right now. Here's the number, 866 to plan for. That's 866 TO-PLAN and the number 4. Now, also, if you want to check out our website, retirementplannow.com. But if you want to get on this complimentary second opinion service, call now. It's 866 to plan for, 866 TO-PLAN and the number 4. Worried that you might get audited? Coming up, we'll talk about those little red flags that could tip off the IRS. We'll talk about that next. Okay, so Brian, if the market has you stumped, go watch Mad Money with Jim Cramer. At least you'll get a laugh. Listen to this clip.
Just like when you pour yourself a beer, the froth doesn't last. It's a sign that people are getting too greedy. Remember, bulls make money, okay? Bears make money, but hogs, they get slaughtered. And right now, this market's starting to stink of pork.
There is wisdom behind the fun, though, right?
There is, yeah. No, I mean, it's when I've got, very beginner investors that are coming in and saying they got 100% returns. I said, where did you get your advice from? Well, I just saw these stocks that are out there on the internet, some blog, some article. I just handpicked them based on what I use. I've got this, I use this, I use that, and I start just buying based on my feelings. And you earned 100%. I've had 40-year-olds coming in saying, I think I can retire with less than $1 million.
Oh, wow.
And it's really a hard conversation to have, bro. I mean, it really is, because I'm like, well,
$1 million sounds like a lot of money.
No, it's less than $1 million.
Okay.
I'm saying, more like $600,000 or $700,000 range. And they're saying, yeah, I really think I'm retired next year.
And
well,
do you go,
me too.
Do you plan on living to 43?
Yeah, right. So what's wrong with you medically? I mean,
right.
I'm sorry to hear it. You know, what's going on? No, I'm perfectly healthy. My parents lived to 80, 90 years old. I've got this long, life expectancy, but I'm done so well by picking a few stocks that went up, right? The Teslas of the world, or Zoom, or you name it, right? Everything kind of
GameStop.
Yeah, well, that didn't end so well, but a lot of them just kind of went up based on the market, being flooded with trillions of dollars. And so, what are you doing about it, right? Oh well, I'm just, it's going to keep on going up. No, it's not. It's not. A lot of these earnings that these companies have are so overblown. It's just somebody's over there, pushing air into
fanning the flame.
They're it's like, okay, well, what happens when, like he's talking about, the pigs get slaughtered, and what's your exit strategy for that, right? And at least we've had some humble people come in that said, look, I got lucky. This is great. I made 100% of my returns last year, 50%. I did really well, but I know this is unsustainable. I really want a long-term investing strategy that can give me some downside protection, but I also want growth, right? How can we do that? And was there a system for that? Yeah, there is, but we're not going to get 100% a year. If you're expecting that, go down the road.
Yeah, right.
That was a good year everybody had, right? But the government put trillions of dollars into people's hands that said, well, what are they going to do? You can't go to the amusement park. you can't go on vacation. You can't go on a trip anymore. And so they put it in the market, right? Yeah. They had all this extra cash flow, right? And so they invested it, and that's good for the market, but long term, it's not sustainable.
So the Go Banking Rates website did a story about wealth managers. They're so different financial planning. There's so many different financial planning titles and designations. It's kind of hard to tell who does what. What category do you feel like you fit into, and what do you do, and who do you focus on?
Well, I mean, so a good financial advisor can help you achieve your monetary goals, right? There's wealth managers that are able to manage your wealth. We're investment advisors. I own a registered investment advisor firm, right, that has investment advisor representatives in our office. So we can also be called a financial planner legally. So a registered representative that may sell mutual funds and, let's say, variable annuities, and they even may be able to sell stocks. If they don't have the investment advisor license, they can't call themselves a financial planner. And it's not a big shocker, because that's why a lot of people come to us, because they actually want a financial planner.
Right.
They're like, hey, this guy's done well for me. He's invested my money. It's grown 8% over the last 5 or 10 years. But every single time we go in to get some advice, because we're getting to that critical, the 10-yard line here. We need some help with Social Security dishes and pension, long-term care. Where do we take our income? All those things that are important. I'm not getting any help. And that's where a financial planner comes in. A planner comes in and looks at all the areas, taxes, like we've talked about many times on the show. How are you going to get more tax-free income? And so that's what you really need someone to help kind of organize your life in the sense. You can invest money with Robinhood in 10 minutes. Download the app, throw some money in there, and you've got stocks in your account, and hopefully they'll grow. But you need a game plan for your income, taxes, estate planning, everything.
You need a long-term plan. You need a second opinion.